Hi everyone, my name is Sam Hammond, lead product trainer here at BDS. In today's video, we're going to be discussing another topic when it comes to managing and maintaining your print environment. This is going to be another video in our series on MyQ. These are meant to be short primers on how to do different things within the MyQ software. There are a couple of assumptions being made as we're doing these videos. The first is that you know how to access your MyQ terminal, your MyQ interface as an admin. The second is that you have access to the print server itself. In today's video specifically, we're going to be addressing how to configure a print object on a MyQ print server to handle printing to the various queues that you've already configured inside of MyQ. This is a fairly simple process, but there are a couple settings that, if not enabled correctly, will prevent printing from working, and we want to try to address those here. So, without further ado, let's get started. Log into your MyQ portal as an admin, and what we want to do is we want to go to the Queues tab, and we're going to be choosing the queue that is going to be handling the print jobs. In this case, I have a BDS test queue. What you want to do is you want to write that down, type it out, or whatever, so that you have it down pat. And it's important to know that it is the information where we'll need this later. It is case sensitive, so you want to make sure that what you have matches exactly what's here. So in this case, BDS test queue is a pull print or follow me print queue that we are going to be using org-wide to handle all printing at MFPs. So it's important that this printer works for every single print object in our fleet when we create it. So I'll walk through that process as well. In our example today, I've got a laboratory that has 3 different Kyocera MFPs. They are all 4 series. One is a black and white, and 2 are color. So what I want to do is when I'm configuring my follow me or my pull print printer, I want it to have all of the features and accessories of the most advanced MFP in the fleet. So if I have a MFP that has folding, hole punching, stapling, I want to make sure that those options are available. Even though I can't use them on every machine, I need to make sure that if I need them when I go to print at that large machine or that flagship device, I'll be able to access them. So we'll walk through how to do that today as well. First thing I need to do is on the print server, I'm going to be doing this through Control Panel, but you could just as easily do this through Print Management. So I'm going to go to my Control Panel, Devices and Printers. I'm going to add a printer. I'm going to go, the printer I want isn't listed. And this is where it gets a little strange. I'm going to add a printer using an IP address or a host name. And then here, I'm going to go to TCP IP device. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the internal IP address of the print server. Because once we have this thing fully configured, I'm not going to be printing directly to a printer. I'm going to be printing to the queue itself. I'm going to be printing to MyQ. And the way that that works is by printing to the print server. So in this case, my internal IP address is 10.2.10.133. And then for my port name, I always leave this as the IP address. You could rename it here if you wanted to. So I'm going to click Next here. And what's going to happen is that in this specific instance, because I've already done this, it found it immediately. Normally, it will just spin and spin and spin because Windows is trying to find an actual printer, but obviously you're not printing to a printer, you're printing to a server, so it'll just spin and spin and spin, and it will eventually present you with this field here. You want to select Custom and go to Settings. This opens up our port options. This is where we want to configure our actual MyQ printing port. Now, you can do this after the fact, and I'll walk you through how to do that too, or we can do it here. What you want to do is you want to change your print protocol from RAW, which is the standard TCP/IP printing method, it just goes direct to the printer, to LPR. And then down in the LPR settings, this is where we're going to put our exact queue name here. I'm going to highlight it and control paste it, copy and paste it here. But this needs to match up exactly because this tells MyQ where the print job is going. The last thing we want to do is we want to turn on LPR byte counting and disable SNMP status. It's already disabled here, but if it is enabled, you want to disable it. Click OK, then click Next. What's going to happen is that it's going to allow you to choose a print driver. I'm going to use the Kyocera KX driver for this. It's just the most advanced driver for this particular manufacturer. And I'm going to use a 7054 CI driver because that's the biggest machine and most provisioned machine in my fleet. So that's what's going to line up here. So for example, if I have a 4004, a 5054, and a 7054, I want to use the biggest and best driver because that will work for all the machines. I'm going to go next on the 7054. I will use the driver that's currently installed. Now, when I name this name, what people see when they look at the print object doesn't have to match the BDS test queue name that we used earlier. So in this case, I'm going to call it BDS Follow Me. And I'll hit next, it'll install it. Now, when I deploy this printer to people's computers, on their computer, they'll have access to this printer, and when they print to it, MyQ is watching for the job, so that when they print to it, they can go collect their jobs from the end user's computers. Now, you can share it here if you want, or you can share it after the fact or deploy it with a GPO, or however you want to do that, but that is how you create a printer to work within MyQ. If you print a test page, the job will be accepted by MyQ, but it will be held underneath the administrator account that you installed the printer as, so you might not be able to release it from one of your embedded terminals in your fleet. So we'll hit finish here. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to actually provision this printer, right? Because it's got a folder, it's got a hole punch unit. So I need to make sure that those options are available. So I'll go back to my control panel, or I'll go to print management, right click on the print object, and in control panel, I'll go to printer properties, or in print management in the Windows Server architecture, I'll go to just properties. But we're going to go to printer properties here. Now, if I wanted to configure my port after the fact, I'll come into ports, highlight the port that I have selected, which should be my server IP address, right? I'll go to configure port, and look, there's the information we configured earlier. If I want to change this, say my queue name changes or something like that, or I want to point this print object at a different queue later, I can update that here. Not a big deal. I'll hit OK. Now, depending on the manufacturer that you're using, this process looks a little bit different, but you're always going to land on either the admin tab, device settings tab, accessories tab, something like that that defines what a printer has. Normally, a printer will automatically send this information via SNMP to the print driver. In this case, because this print object is being told to look at the server itself, that doesn't happen. So we have to define what it really has. So my 7054, my most provisioned device in my fleet, has the large capacity feeders. It has a 4,000 sheet finisher with a 2 and 3 hole punch, confirming those options, and it also has a folding unit as well. So now, when I go to print to this print object, I'll have all of these options. Now, if I print a folded print job and I try to go collect it on my 4004 that doesn't have a folding unit, the job will just print out without those feature sets. Same goes for hole punch, same goes for color, etc., etc. But if I go to my 7054, my big machine that has the folding unit on it, that will fold the job. So I'll hit close, I'll hit apply, and there we go, we're good to go. So what have we done in today's video? We have shown how to create a print object that will work with a MyQ print queue that we have created. If you want to know how to create a print queue in MyQ, please watch our video on how to do that. We have one that is explicitly on creating print queues quickly. And that should allow you to set one up to then configure a print driver like the one in this video here. Once again, my name is Sam Hammond, Lead Product Trainer at BDS. I want to thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you, and have a great day.